Hello everyone, welcome to the third video of Unusual Django Month. It's a month in which we are exploring some solos by Django Reinhardt that people usually don't learn or that are not being taught elsewhere on YouTube. So far we've done that great solo on Souvenirs. Then we did the solo for Embraceable You, and in this video we're going to take a look at Django's solo on the tune Charleston. This is a great solo by Django with a lot of early Django licks and tricks in there, chromatic runs, repeating patterns, little slides. Let's get started with phrase number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. So this is one of Django's infamous chromatic runs, and there's many ways to play that. It's very difficult to hear exactly what's happening. So most people, when they play a chromatic run like that, they would start on one of the strings. Let's say we're going to start on the D string, and then we're going to play open 1, 2, 3 on every string. And on the last string, we're going to just slide up and try to land on the note we intend to land on, in this case on an E flat. Of course, you can employ that method for this solo, but when I tried it myself, it didn't really sound like what I was hearing on the original recording, which you can listen to, by the way, because it's linked in the description. So what I did was I slowed it down to 10%, and I just picked out all the notes I could hear, and I could very clearly hear this scale in the beginning. And then for the rest, I just try to fit in a rhythm that you actually can practice. So what I wrote down is 2 triplets, 1, 2, 3, and then 16th notes. So first you start practicing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And you just repeat it with the metronome. 1, 2, 3. Then the next step would be to play the slide. So now I was playing 1, 2, 3, 4 on the highest string, but you should actually play 1, 2, 3, 3. And then just slide up, but keep your right hand in 16th notes. So that would start on beat 1 of the second bar, and you have to play 8 16th notes. So the slide doesn't have to be precise, you don't have to hear clear notes, because in the end it will be very fast, you won't be able to hear it anyway. But you just time your hand to land on the E flat on beat 3, 3, 4. So the whole thing would be 3, 4, 1. And then you just keep working on it faster and faster until you reach 230 if you're ever going to make that. And that will be so fast that it won't be possible to do this exactly. But that's not the point. The point is to make the practice a regular thing that you can really work on and improve. But then when it's on the top speed, you just do the best you can and you just try to land on that E flat. It doesn't really matter then if you play those triplets exactly or those 16th notes, because in the end it's an effect. But working on it like this will get you much closer to the original Django recording than just do the other way with the open strings and the 1, 2, 3 fingering on every string. Let's get to the next phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. I'm gonna split up this tutorial in 2 parts, like usual. So now you're watching part 1 right here on YouTube, and then the second part will be for my patrons, will be a Patreon exclusive. And if you want to get access to that, you can check out my Patreon, and if you join there at the €10 tier, you will get access to that video and many other videos that are exclusive. And if you would join at the €5 tier, you can download all the tabs that you see today. Now, this is of course only the first chorus, and the original solo has 2 choruses. So if this video gets a lot of views, I might also do the second chorus. So let's just get started with the second phrase. It's just an easygoing phrase from G7 to C7. And the G7 is altered because you play this flat 13. And then we get this phrase for C7. And then F7. Now that lick is a pretty well-known Django lick to play from C7 to F7, or from 2 dominant chords resolving to 1 chord. So in this case, it's C7, F7 to B flat, but you can of course play it in every key. So notice that it is a 2-5-1, where the 2 chord is not a minor 7 chord, but a dominant. So then this lick, and many variations, you can often hear that there's even a song called Djangology, composition by Django, which starts with that lick, more or less. It's the same idea, right, here. It's a great way to play 2 consecutive dominant chords resolving to 1. Also practiced an octave lower, it's a great lick to play in multiple octaves. Let's go to the next phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Three, 4, 1. Here Django plays a tritone substitute on F7. So the chord's F7, and he thinks B7 by playing this lick. If you're not familiar with that concept, you might think that's strange. It's F7, why would you play B7? That's because F7 and B7 are basically the same chord. You can see it on the guitar. If you play an F7 chord, so I'm just playing the root, the 3rd and the 7. Now if I keep that A in E flat, and I just change the bass note to a B, it's B7, right? But now it's root. Now this becomes the 7 of B7, and this becomes the 3rd. But you can see that F7 and B7, basically the same chord, just the root changes. So you can play licks that fit on one chord over the other chord. So that's what's happening here. Now, just a typical diminished phrase for D7. So you start playing a diminished arpeggio from the F sharp. Now Django, of course, wouldn't be playing it like this. This would be the way that Stochelo would play it, or the way that I would play it. That's this fingering that I learned from Stochelo. Django would probably play it like this. Which for me is much more difficult, so I just do it like this. Which is also what I would recommend. Let's go to the next phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. And this is the last phrase of this solo. Typical Django stuff here. It's very melodic. It's not so much trying to outline the chords exactly, but it's more of a statement. So start with those 8th notes. Now a quarter triplet. You see that those notes have little slides. I didn't talk about that before, but also in the second phrase that's already present, where you had. You hear that? It's a typical Django thing that maybe started with him only playing with 2 fingers and having to change positions a lot. So maybe you get those little slides just anyway, but now it's just a part of that sound. So if you want to sound like an early Django, you have to do that. I don't want to give you rules for when to do it. That's why I didn't write it in the tab, but just do it whenever you feel it's appropriate. So here it's very appropriate because you have a repeating note. That's a little bit a weird part, because the chord there would be either just D minor or F7. I think I do both in the recording. Sometimes it's D minor, sometimes F7. It sounds almost like Django's going to B flat 7 too early, but he realizes that and just makes a nice melodical resolution. And then he's ready to play the bridge. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. If you want to learn the second part, again, check out my Patreon. And if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye!